Hello, how are you? Today we have Monique with us, and she has got a lot of experience. Lot of experience. Why I say this is because somebody who has worked for 5 years in marketing and that to 1.5 years in agency has a lot of experience because agencies give you a lot of exposure. They have a lot of clients, they have a lot of things to deal with, they have multiple things happening with them on a daily basis. And that is what we are going to talk about today. We are going to talk about the right digital strategy for agencies. Monique is going to be with us. What she has done, she has been there working for marketing for 5 years. After that, in 2019, she started her own agency. Her agency mostly focuses on the inbound thing, and which is the trend, which is a lot of people don't get it. And then they focus on getting leads through organic channels like creating content, creating blogs, and doing a lot of things. She herself is a podcaster, and let me give mic to her, or maybe hand it over to her. Monique, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am great and I'm super excited to be here.
Great. So, first thing first, which we always do, we ask the host, sorry, the speaker, where are they from, what have they done, and a little bit about their journey, so that the listeners get to know a bit more about you.
Sure, I'm happy to introduce myself. So, my name is Monique Idimudia. I run a digital marketing agency called Dragon Digital Marketing. We're based out of St. Petersburg, Florida, and we focus on helping small businesses to grow and scale their small business with the power of great digital marketing. And we do that by focusing on inbound marketing, which basically means creating content in all different shapes and formats. And we help to get small businesses the exposure that they need and organically attract leads and new clients to their business. And I'm super passionate about that and excited to share my tips and experience with you today.
Great. Thanks a lot. Uh, when we start things, what is your definition of agency? Because a lot of people have different definitions about agency. They have a definition where one person is company, it is a single person company, it is multiple people working on a project. There are different freelancers working. So, what is your definition of agency?
Yes, for me, an agency definitely is an organization where multiple people work on the projects and work with the clients. So the clients get that benefit. They get a team of specialized people, they're experts, they have the right tools. They're available more than a single person could ever be available. If one person gets sick,
True.
there's another expert who can step in and continue the project. So there is no downtime and you're not dealing with the issues and you're not as reliable on one single person as like you're working with a freelancer. You get like a more professional outcome,
True.
and yes, oftentimes also a higher quality of work because agencies, they have structures, they have systems, they have processes in place, they have the experience of having worked with a lot of clients, so they have their SOPs, standard operating procedures, which they go through, and all of that. And the people are just super specialized in what they do, and not, they don't have to handle too many things at once. So they're really experts in their field, and you can leverage all of that. You're most of the time you're paying a little bit of a higher price if you're hiring an agency versus hiring just a single person. But
Yeah.
those are all the benefits that you get when you have an agency. So it's
Thanks.
definitely multiple people involved. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Monique. That is the perfect answer for anybody who is answering. So, a lot of agency owners are there on the podcast and who hear our podcast. This is a perfect answer for you whenever somebody asks you, why should we pay you more? We can get this thing done by a freelancer also. And the freelancers who are listening to this, get this in your pitch also. That you are perfect, you have your own work procedures and those kind of things. Thanks a lot, Monique, for explaining us the whole thing. And I think it is a great start. Coming to the next point, so once we know why agencies are there and why it is clear to do, agencies face a lot of issues. So if they are a digital marketing agency, or they are design agency, they are SEO agency, specific agency, they are WordPress agencies specific to those, then they are a development agency and different kind of things. Some agencies just do logos. They themselves have difficulties a lot of times to market themselves because of the budget issues, because They have specialized people. So somebody as a digital marketing agency will have a lot of people who are specialized in digital marketing, but then they are working on the client projects. So there is always a chicken and egg problem, because you don't have people to market, but you have a team of marketing. So how should somebody look at this problem in the first place?
Yes, you have to make time to market your own business as well. That's super important. I've heard of that a bunch of times, that agencies neglect their own online presence and their own
Right.
websites and their own, yeah, all of the promotion, because they're so busy with client work and they just don't find the time to build their own thing and look after that as well. It's super important that you keep your own stuff updated as well. You have to black out time for it and prioritize it, because your own online presence is like your flagship. That's what clients see. That's what, speaks for you. It's your image, it's your presentation. It shows what you're capable of. It gives them an idea of what they will receive when they hire you. So you definitely want to keep everything relevant and updated and, looking good, and look after that as well. It's really important, and don't neglect your own marketing.
So moving forward, when we see agencies have multiple clients, agencies face issues, and it is very important for them to do their own marketing, which is very right. So, which are the easier way of branding yourself, uh, or what are the first things that you suggest to an agency that start from here? It will be easy for you. You are not changing your routine anywhere, and it is like a cakewalk. What would be those things?
I would highly recommend everybody to create content and publish that content on various platforms and keep on continuously promoting it. That way, you have a chance to showcase your expertise. You showcase that you're trustworthy and that you actually know what you're doing. You're giving your potential clients the opportunity to learn more with your content and make more informed buying decisions, and it just benefits you in so many different ways. Now people have something that they can share, so they can spread the word and you can generate more awareness, and it's just the self-reinforcing process that attracts people to you organically. So create content, write articles, engage in blogging, audio, podcasting, video, start a YouTube channel, be on social media. All of that is free. It's organic. You don't have to, pay to do that. You just have to invest your time and then keep on promoting it. You'll get that brand recognition. Make sure all of your content is branded. Have a consistent color palette and your logo and everything, and it will serve you over time. And it's also an effect that's very long lasting. It doesn't stop. It keeps on circulating, around in the internet. So a piece of content that you've published maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago, can still serve your business today. So that's really important. Focus on content. Even also graphics. Really think about all different content formats. Create infographics, create guides, create checklists. There are so many things that you can do and that you can create and put out there and publish on your website, and so on and so forth. Email marketing is a great way to also spread the word and get the content out there. So I would highly encourage everybody to do that.
Great. You said one thing about having a color palette and using it in your graphics and branding the graphics. Any tools which you like or you will suggest somebody, because learning Photoshop or learning Illustrator and doing those things is always difficult for an agency, or hiring somebody to do those graphics will always incur a lot of dollars for them, and there's a lot of to and fro with designers. That is what we all have seen while running agencies also, and while doing work with other agencies also. So which are the easy to go tools, or what should be the process there?
Yeah, so to create your brand color palette, I like to use Peloton. It's a free online tool. Type it into Google and you'll find it. And yeah, there you can, see the complementary colors, the split complementary colors, the adjacent colors, some monochromatic variations. You can get really deep into color theory and color psychology here, but that's a great tool where you can see different shade variations and create your color palette for your brand in a really easy way. You can see the hex values there, the RGB values there, and all of that. Write that down. create a spreadsheet or whatever you want to create, but have a color palette, and then always stay consistent and use the same colors. Same with your logo. And then to actually create those graphics, of course, you can use like Illustrator or Photoshop, but you can, for example, also use Canva. It's a really easy tool for beginners, and there's a lot of templates on there that you can use and just modify and customize for yourself, so you don't have to start from scratch. I know it can be intimidating for beginners to stare at like a blank page, not knowing where to start or what to do. So those would be two tool recommendations that I have.
Great. Uh, Next comes the content part, and so we are talking. We will be going forward and talking about one part each. So if there is a design agency, they might feel a lack of content. If it is a content agency, they might feel a lack of design. And if they are from maybe field where they are into development, they might face issues with both. But we will be taking one thing or the other. So when it comes to content. So, is it necessary to get a content writer in house and write content, or outsourcing content alone? Content is also possible. What are your takes on those?
It depends how specific your niche is, how long it takes for a person who's not a subject matter expert and, working and active in that industry to understand it and to be able to do research really well, because it has to be well researched, it has to be original, it has to be plagiarism free, it has to be well written and useful for the user, and obviously it has to be factually correct, right? So if your industry is really specific, really technical, or whatever, it can make sense for you to train an in-house writer and yeah, really train them to get it and to get deep into it. So you always have like, a guarantee of getting fresh, great, awesome, useful, user-friendly content that is aligned with your SEO strategy, that is aligned with the vision that you have for your brand and how you want to be seen, and your brand language and brand voice, and so on and so forth. So it can definitely make sense in that case. But if your industry is a lot more, common and everybody knows it from their everyday life, like, I don't know, fitness, cooking, gardening, something that is maybe more consumer oriented and not as abstract and industrial, you can definitely source it out and hire an agency or hire a freelancer to help you out with writing that content if it's a lot easier and people already have an idea of what to write about and how to approach it. And yeah, it's not just too abstract and too foreign. So it depends. Both are, really good ways to create content. I guess the most important thing is that you actually create content and not do nothing. So no matter what way or what route you choose to go, yeah, just make that decision for your business. There's no general answer. Also, if you have a lot of content to produce, and for example, you're really hard on your blogging strategy, it's your goal to create 4 to 5 articles a week, right? Okay, that's a lot. So you would need a lot of content writers. You'd have to deal with like fluctuations. Freelancers can't always guarantee you the time. An agency maybe is like more, yeah, stable there and can help you out with like a team that can continuously produce that high volume of high quality content for you as well. And yeah, and if it's a lot of content and it's super specific and super technical at the same time, then you can even think about building an in-house team, meaning if you need multiple writers, having like multiple writers in-house. Obviously that doesn't happen overnight. You build that step by step, and you'll figure out the best way to do it for your personal situation and for your business.
Right. So, as you said, building an in-house team is difficult. It is a step-by-step process. Uh, so, what is the tipping point for an agency, or how should they see a process that this is something which I had outsourced? So, suppose you, as a agency, also have been helping people with content, and is there a point where you tell your clients that, "Ma'am, sir, it is time for you to have somebody in house also to make processes simple for us in a way, because you are doing so much content, you need a dedicated resource to handle things at your end. Though we are doing this thing by ourselves, but you need somebody from your we need a point of contact also, who understands what we are talking about. Has this ever happened with you?
Yes, definitely. It's important to have a point of contact who is available for us if we need feedback, if we have questions, if we need your
Yeah.
approval to move forward from that milestone on, or whatever it may be. And oftentimes the business owner or the CEO is just too busy and can't take care of it. So we need a point of contact. So our agency, we make that clear in the very beginning when we create a project plan. Oftentimes there's multiple, contact persons for each topic. For example, for the articles, we have a different contact person than for the video content that we do. And people have different preferences. Some people, their inbox is just inundated with emails and chaotic, and they can't keep up with it. And, the emails just get buried and they never see it. So they prefer being called by phone or contacted via text message. Then we do that. That next person prefers email, then we do that, and they can tell us like their preferred times when they're available. Some person are like, oh, after 5 p.m. Don't reach out to me anymore. Wait till the next morning, or whatever it may be. Make that really clear in the beginning with who you're working with. That's super important. I personally feel like working with an agency, it should be a collaboration. It should be an extension of your resources and your capacities as a business. So there should really be no friction. The communication needs to be seamless. Everybody needs to be on the same page and updated, and have access to the project management plan and so on and so forth. So that is super important if you're working with a professional. And then it really depends. Hiring is expensive. You can't really compare the monthly retainer that invest in your agency and the work that your agency does for you with the monthly salary that you would pay an in-house employee. There's more to it. The hiring process is super, time intensive. You have to be really clear about what skill set you need that person to have, and know the subject matter. So you have to, write a profile. What are your expectations? What level of experience does that person need to have? We all know the memes and laugh about the unrealistic, job descriptions of, I don't know, a person who's like just a entry level person, and then they expect to have you like 15 years of experience in something. I've recently seen seen someone make a meme out of something that a company wanted to have more years of experience in a programming language than the programming language has actually existed. So it hasn't even been around for that long. So keep that in mind. And then you have to screen people. You have to invite them in, have conversations. That costs you time. You lose time. Then that person, you need to get that person up to pace, to really get started. They need like a training period to really understand you and your business and your needs. And, agencies are just trained to do that. Like, we know the right questions to ask. We work with so many businesses, and we get you a lot quicker and get up to speed a lot quicker than a new employee that you're hiring. And then, you always have the risk of them getting sick. Then, who does the work in an agency? Another person can always jump in. And then, the availability, a team of people is a lot more available. Like, we're available 16 plus hours every day, 7 days a week. You can't expect that from your employee or they're going to quit. And then you have, things like motivation, fluctuation, absenteeism, all of that. A lot of things that you just don't have to worry about when you're working with an agency. So you don't have to, if you lose that person, start all over again with all of the HR work and the paperwork that's involved in registering the person. And, there's a lot to it. That's why, you have just more peace of mind, and it can be easier to just hire an agency for you. And if you do your research right and you pick the right agency, you make sure that they know what they're doing and they have a proven track record and a lot of happy clients. A good online presence themselves, where you can learn more about them and get all the information that you need, that you can work with them together long term, and you're going to have a good experience. Yeah.
Great. One thing which I used to pitch to a lot of companies also when I was running my own agency was getting that culture of as what we do as individuals is has a lot of things to do with creative thinking. And for people to do creative thinking, you need a culture for the same. And when they start working in product companies, or where they are one or two guys only who are in marketing department and doing those stuff, is very difficult. I get that point a lot of times, that this guy was working with you and he was working very nicely. When he came to my company, he's not working now. So it is all about the culture, the environment that they get. If there are four designers sitting together, they will create a lot of new things, rather than if you take just one designer and give him tasks to do. In the same way, as you said, there are, if the agencies available 7 days a week, 16 hours a week, a day, which normally a single human being cannot do. So it is always better to hire an agency if you have a bit of more work. And plus, I good point for a hiring agency is, you don't have to pay full salary of that employee or that person whose skill set are you using. So if you're using a graphic designer just for 12 hours a week, a month, or 13 hours a month, which usually is okay for a company to get the output of social media, so why should they pay 160 hours and those kind of things? Then they start working for getting that projects for that guy, which is difficult in that case. Moving to the part, I think this conversation is going in the right direction in that way, where we are talking about why agencies are important, or what are the factors. What are the questions that you usually get while creating content? Because content is a space where it takes time. So while we are working around strategies also, but it always takes time to deliver results. Because getting overnight success just by posting a blog is once in a blue moon. It does not happen every day. But maybe you upload a TikTok and then you get more views. It is possible. So, how do you differentiate about what are the things to concentrate as a brand or as a company? And so, how do you explain them that this much time should go to blogs, this much time should go to YouTube content, or this much time should go to your Facebook post, and those kind of things? How do you do those?
Yeah, you have to make it very clear in the beginning and set the expectations in the beginning. You want your clients to have the right expectations, especially when it comes to time, so they don't expect results overnight, and just be really honest about it and explain why that is. It is because it's not in your power. You cannot control the algorithms of the social media platform. You cannot control the algorithm of the Google search engine or any other search engine or whatever. It just takes time to build. Plus, you need quality and you need quantity. You need to have created a bunch of stuff. Even if you have one amazing high quality blog post, you need more. You need to be consistently posting. Consistency is a huge factor too. And then, you need the signals, the social signals. How many shares does it get? How many backlinks does it get? How many people click on that, what's the click-through rate. So a lot of things are super important. Explain all of the factors to your client, and a lot of times they understand it because they don't want short-term wins either. They want to grow their business. They want to be sustainable and grow over time and be there in the future too. That's why they reach out and are interested in hiring you in the first place. So most of them will just understand that it's not worth it to go for hacks or trends, or anything that is short term, or just vanity stuff that makes you feel good in the moment, but it doesn't indicate any success. It doesn't indicate any return on investment or something like that. So if you can explain it properly to them, they'll understand. And onboarding is really important. That's part of the onboarding process. So yes, you have to definitely sort that out. It's very important and just crucial in having happy clients, because they'll refer you. You can create more content from those stories. You can write success stories. You get good testimonials. You get good word of mouth. And so on and so forth. So you definitely want happy clients that keep on referring you and building your brand and your reputation for your business as well. So yeah, it's just a win-win. Yeah.
Monique, so when we see things where you said happy clients are important, they refer you in a way. So referral is one of the biggest channel through which people get new business, and uh, I think it is important to look at this aspect also, where you serve clients in a way that they refer you. And for agencies, uh, they tend to do a lot of business with people whom they know or somebody has referred. What has been your journey in this aspect, and how would you suggest to get referrals out of your current clients? So what are the different processes in a way to get more referrals, or is there a process to get more referrals, or is there a process to ask your clients maybe they can refer you, or in a way what is that?
Yeah, so the best way to do it is to have only happy clients. Do your best. Don't promise anything that you can't deliver on. You know, practice what you preach. Over, over deliver, under promise and over deliver. Make sure they're happy. Go out of your way to give them what they want. Communicate everything really clearly so you really minimize misunderstandings, and do all of that right from the beginning. Nurture a great client relationship. Make an effort to really understand them and their business and their culture and the mission that they're on and the vision that they have and all of that. And do that. And then on top of that, you can also incentivize them referring you to other people as well if that is not enough. But if a person has an extraordinary experience and it's remarkably good, they'll refer you naturally because they just want to talk about it. It's just out of the ordinary if you've delivered so much better results than anybody they've ever worked with before. They're going to mention it, just around everybody that they are, their friends, their family. Business owners mostly have other business owner friends too, so yeah, it just spreads the word automatically, organically. They post about it on social media. They'll share your stuff and so on and so forth. And they're more than happy to help you out and reciprocate with a great review, a great rating, a great testimonial. Maybe even they'll be willing to record a video so you can use that. So definitely nurture the relationship. Your goal is not to get the conversion. To get new customers, but think one step further and really turn your customers into evangelists, into loyal fans of your brand and of your business, and nurture the relationship long term. You want great, long lasting customer relationships and really care about them. So, yeah, that helps a lot too if you're passionate about what you do and you really do care. So, yes.
Rightly said. If we work in a better way for a customer, and if he's happy, the client or the business will always have friends who are with them who are also doing businesses, and they will definitely refer you because they have liked your thing. One thing which is very common whenever we talk in terms of social media marketing, SEO, content marketing, to be specific, is expectations versus reality. And a lot of problem occurs, which you said that setting the expectations right is the first and foremost thing. What are the channels through which you do that? So dropping in them an email that these are the deliverables, will that work? Or signing a contract? What are the processes, and how can somebody safeguard themselves, or what should they do to in a way tell that these are the things how it will be and what it will be?
Yeah, so we use Zoom. I'm a big fan of having FaceTime with a person and talking to them face to face. That way, you feel like you're actually communicating with a human being and interacting with another person. If you can see them, you can hear them, you can see, how they move, their gestures, their mimics, and so on. You can feel the whole vibe, and that I feel is really, really important to start off in a good, to start off in a good way and just build it from there. The first impression counts. So for us, we start with video consultations and we go over everything in the video consultation. And then after that, obviously, we'll send over a contract, we'll send over a non disclosure agreement if they want that, we'll send over the project plan, we'll go over it and go through it, make sure that, they've understood everything correctly, there are no misunderstandings, and so on and so forth. And then we move forward. And then obviously, we sign them up in our project management system so they can always see the progress and log in whenever they want to, so they don't have to call us up or email us like, hey, what are you working on this week? What are you working on today? How long is that going to take to be ready? So they can see it on their own, and they can also see that we're working on something and we're doing something. Even if we're like in a research phase, for example, they can see that in the project management system. So they know, oh, okay, the agency is doing research. That is important. So what they're going to deliver after that is actually going to be good and effective. So yeah, that is really, really important. So it can be one consultation, or it can be multiple video calls depending on how big the organization is, how many people are involved, how many things there are to discuss or talk about, how big the project is, what the scope is, how many different channels it involves. So it can really depend, but there's definitely at least one video consultation where we go over everything to make sure that, yeah, we have a great foundation for the work that we'll be doing.
Great. So, Monique, as we are coming towards the end of our podcast, and one thing, two questions which I usually ask all my speakers, guests who are on the podcast is, one is that we are in an ever changing field. So in social media or in Google search, everything changes every 6 months, 8 months, and things keep on changing. So what keeps you motivated to be in this line? And because somebody who is a chemical engineer, a lot of things won't change. Somebody who is into philosophy, a lot of things won't change. But here, everything changes. TikTok is banned, or TikTok there is on a verge of getting banned. You have something else coming up every day, new trends and new things. How do you keep yourself motivated of being in this line?
Yes, that is actually exactly what keeps me motivated. I love the fast changing environment and that it never gets boring. It just, always evolves and changes and adapts to what people want. Marketing is all about exchange relationships with people. So you just feel the dynamic of society, of the environment in your daily work and what you do. And that's what always keeps it interesting. It just never gets old. You never get into this routine where you start disliking what you do because it's like same old, but you always have to push yourself to be better, to stay on top, to keep on learning. That's super important.
Yes.
I love learning. I'm always, reading a book or taking an online class or whatever to stay on top of my game. And that's what, always keeps me motivated and keeps everything so interesting for me to be in this field. And I love the technical stuff as well. I love to see, how everything advances when it comes to digitalization and how people use that to market their business and so on and so forth. So it's just very exciting. And yeah, it's a great field to be in.
Great. What are the books or podcasts, as you are also doing a podcast? Which are the books or podcasts would you like to recommend to our listeners?
Yes, I really like marketing books. I really like business books. I can name a couple. So, Good to Great is a book that I would really recommend. It's about, what differentiates the mediocre companies that are just doing good to the really great companies that are doing extraordinarily well in their industries. What are they doing different? So you can learn from
Yes.
that. Mindset is a great book that I recommend for entrepreneurs. You have to develop a growth mindset
Right.
and have that, confidence that most things are skills and skills can be learned. It's not an inherent talent that you've either been born with or not.
Yeah.
You can learn it, you can develop it. So nothing is like static. So you get that right mindset, you get that growth mindset. Like there's so many. I can give you a list later on if you want to, so you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
There's also
I think the next,
books out as well.
yeah,
So
so the next podcast will be the books recommended by Monique.
yeah.
About this book which you said, mindset, I have also read it, and one quote which is not from the mindset book, but what explains it is the best is, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. So
Exactly.
yeah, so it is very important to work hard on something, or eventually you will learn it. Will Smith also has a quote where he says, either you get off the treadmill or I die. So whenever there is a competition between somebody who is on a treadmill with Will Smith, he says this thing, that either you get off the treadmill or I die, in that way. So working hard is something which everybody should focus on. And thanks a lot, Monique, for doing this. I had a great time. Though we focused a lot of things on why agencies are important, and what are the things which agencies can pitch on, and I think it is also very valuable knowledge which not a lot of agencies have whenever they face issues while pitching themselves. So it will definitely help them. Thanks a lot, Monique, for doing this with us. I had a great time.